So what if I told you that the fastest growing segment of the massive $290 billion creator economy requires zero inventory, like zero shipping delays, and it routinely runs on a 95% profit margin?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds completely made up, right? But it's not.
Exactly. Today, we are basically tearing down the fantasy of the traditional side hustle. You know the one. You design a product, you build a website, and suddenly your garage is just overflowing with cardboard boxes while you stress over global supply chain bottlenecks.
The classic e-commerce nightmare.
Right. So our mission in this deep dive is to decode a really comprehensive 2026 guide on selling digital products on Shopify. We're going to separate the hype from the actual mechanical reality of what is now a $32 billion digital goods market.
Which is huge.
It is. And the goal here is to give you a practical blueprint for turning the expertise you already have into serious passive income. So to start us off, what's the core appeal here?
Well, the appeal of the digital goods economy fundamentally rewrites the rules of retail. When you completely eliminate the cost of raw materials, manufacturing, and fulfillment, you're left with a business model where your inventory is literally infinite.
Infinite inventory.
Yeah, you create a file once, and you have the capacity to sell it 1,000,000 times without spending, another dime on production.
Okay, let's unpack this, because a 90 to 95% profit margin sounds, well, it sounds like a typo to anyone who has ever tried to run a physical retail storefront or even like a regular e-commerce brand.
Oh, absolutely.
So before we get into deciding like what kind of files you should be creating, we really need to understand why the underlying economics of this intangible market are just so radically different.
I think it really helps to contrast it with the business models that are usually touted as, low barrier to entry, like drop shipping or print on demand.
Right, those are super popular.
They are, but with drop shipping, you are still bound by the laws of physical logistics. You might pull, say, a 25% margin if your marketing is absolutely flawless.
Which is a big if.
Exactly.
Cool.
But you're still dealing with supplier inconsistencies, weeks-long shipping delays, and the inevitable customer service nightmare when a package just gets lost. Your cost of goods sold is this constant heavy anchor dragging you down.
Yeah.
But with digital products, the delivery is instant. It's global. The moment the credit card clears, the customer has the product in their hands or, well, on their screen.
The source material breaks down this concept called break-even magic, and I really want to slow down and look at the math here because it is just wild.
The math is the best part.
It really is. So the guide outlines a lean Shopify storefront setup that costs roughly $40 a month.
Oh,
If your average digital product sells for $29, you only need to make 2 sales a month to break even. Let me repeat that for everyone listening. 2 sales every 30 days to cover your entire operational overhead. I mean, if you're selling physical ceramic mugs, you'd need to sell 20 of them just to cover the cost of the clay, the glaze, the bubble wrap.
shipping boxes.
Right, all of that before you see a single dime of actual profit.
And that incredibly low floor is really what makes digital products the ultimate testing ground for entrepreneurs. You can validate an idea, just put up a product, and see if the market actually wants it with virtually zero financial risk.
Which is so freeing.
It is, but it requires a total rewiring of how you view business. You are no longer acting as a supply chain manager. You are monetizing knowledge and convenience.
I look at it like building a toll bridge. Constructing that bridge, like writing the 100-page ebook, designing the complex architectural template, or coding the software plugin, that is undeniably hard work.
Oh yeah, massive effort up front.
Right, you're putting in a ton of sweat equity. But once that bridge is built and it's spanning the river, the effort required to let one car across is the exact same as letting 10,000 cars cross.
Zero extra effort.
Exactly. Every single toll you collect after the cost of construction is almost pure profit. You never have to go buy more bridge to sell more crossings.
And that transition, moving from selling physical units to selling access over a bridge you already built, that leads directly into deciding what kind of toll bridge you want to construct in the first place.
Right, because since the bridge is so cheap to maintain, the next logical question is, what exactly should you be selling to get a piece of that $32 billion pie?
Right.
Because not all digital files are created equal. And the guide breaks this down into 7 distinct categories based on a spectrum of effort versus reward.
Yeah, so on the high effort, high price end of that spectrum, you have things like software and plugins, which routinely sell anywhere from $19 to $199.
Oh.
You also have comprehensive online courses, which can range from $49 to, well over $500.
Why?
Those categories offer massive payouts, but, and this is a big but, they require serious continuous maintenance.
Like updates and stuff.
Exactly. Software needs bug fixes and updates for new operating systems. Courses require you to host video, moderate communities, and constantly update the curriculum so it actually stays relevant.
That makes sense. But then you look at the other end of the spectrum, right? The low effort, extremely high margin items.
With quick wins.
Yes, we are talking about printables like daily planners, organizational checklists, or custom wall art selling for maybe $3 to $19, or templates and presets.
Those are huge right now.
Yeah, like fully formatted Notion workspaces, Canva templates, or Lightroom photo presets. And those sell for $9 to $49.
What's fascinating here is how the market values utility over the actual format or size of the file.
What do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of creators fall into the trap of thinking a product has to be a glossy 50-module 4K video course to justify a high price tag. But highly functional templates often out-earn those massive courses.
Wait, really? A template can make more than a full course?
Absolutely, because buyers in the digital space are usually paying for a shortcut. They don't want to spend 10 hours learning a new skill. They just want the spreadsheet that instantly balances their budget.
I think people also wonder, like, in the age of generative AI, why is anyone still buying Canva templates or layout presets?
It's a fair question.
But the reality is, you aren't just selling the pixels, you are selling your curated taste. A business owner buys your specific social media template because they trust your aesthetic eye,
Right, they want the outcome.
Exactly. They want the immediate utility of just plugging in their text and hitting post. It saves them from staring at a blank screen.
Yeah.
And the golden rule the guide emphasizes is, start with what you know.
Start with what you know.
Yes. If you're a fitness coach, your product should be a downloadable 12-week marathon training plan. You shouldn't try to go learn Python to code a custom fitness app from scratch just because software theoretically commands a higher price.
Exactly. You lean into your existing expertise to minimize that upfront bridge building time.
So we've established the economics, and you've matched your existing skills to a high-utility product category. But creating the file is only about 10% of the battle, right?
Very much, yeah.
The other 90% is getting it securely into a customer's hands.
Yeah.
So how does a platform like Shopify actually handle that handoff?
Well, the guide outlines a 5-step setup flow, but it really highlights the friction points where most beginners stumble. Step 1 is installing a digital delivery app. Step 2 is creating the product listing, and there is a tiny, crucial mechanism here. You literally just uncheck a box in the settings that says, this is a physical product.
Which instantly tells the checkout system to stop asking the customer for their shipping address.
Precisely. It streamlines the checkout to just email and payment, which drastically reduces cart abandonment.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. Then step 3 is uploading your files to the app. Step 4 is customizing the delivery email. And honestly, this is a massive friction point.
Really?
The email. Yeah, because most sellers treat this email like a generic printed receipt. But in the digital goods world, that delivery email is the customer's very first post-purchase experience with your brand.
Oh, I see.
It needs to look professional, include clear download instructions, and ideally pitch them on joining your broader community. Finally, step 5 is running a test purchase to ensure the whole flow feels seamless.
Okay, hold on. I have to call a timeout here and push back on something because it genuinely surprised me when I read the source material.
Sure. What is it?
We're talking about Shopify. It is arguably the absolute juggernaut of modern e-commerce.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that vanilla, out-of-the-box Shopify does not natively deliver a digital file?
Yep, that's right.
You have to go install a third-party app just to send a customer the PDF they just bought. That seems like an unbelievable oversight for a platform trying to capture the creator economy.
It is a totally valid reaction, and honestly, it catches almost every new seller off guard. But you have to remember, Shopify's core foundational architecture was built a decade ago around the complexities of shipping physical boxes.
Like calculating weight and stuff.
Exactly. Printing shipping labels, tracking packages. To handle the unique demands of digital files, they rely entirely on their app ecosystem. But, to their credit, Shopify does provide a free first-party app called Digital Downloads that seamlessly plugs that hole for most beginners.
But is that free app actually robust enough, or is it just a gateway to force you into, like, expensive subscriptions?
For about 80% of sellers, the free app is more than enough. It allows you to attach files up to 5 gigabytes per product, which easily covers massive ebooks, high-resolution templates, audio files.
5 gigs is a lot.
It's plenty. It automates the delivery email and lets you set basic download limits. The guide notes you only really need to upgrade to a paid app like SendOwl or SkyPilot, which might push your monthly overhead from that lean $40 closer to $200 if you need advanced technical features.
Wait, advanced features like DRM, digital rights management, right?
Right.
Like locking the file down.
Yes, exactly. Advanced apps offer DRM features like PDF stamping.
What's that?
That's where the app automatically watermarks the buyer's personal email address across every single page of the ebook.
Oh, wow. So if they share it, their email is on it.
Right. It's a psychological deterrent against them uploading it to a public forum. Paid apps are also necessary if you're selling software and need the system to auto-generate unique license keys, or if you want to drip feed your course content out week by week instead of letting the buyer download the entire curriculum on day one.
Okay, that makes sense. So now the tech is set up, the file is hosted on the app, and the checkout flow is smooth. But here is where we hit a massive psychological hurdle. Yes. How on earth do you assign a dollar value to something made entirely of pixels? Pricing a digital file requires a totally different framework than pricing a physical item.
It really does.
Like if you sell a leather wallet, you know the leather costs $5, the thread costs 50 cents, and the labor took an hour. You mark it up and sell it for $40. Digital doesn't work that way because the cost of creation is fixed.
Right, because it costs you the exact same amount of money to sell one copy of your template as it does to sell 10,000 copies. You have to transition entirely away from cost plus pricing. You have to embrace value-based pricing.
Value-based pricing.
Yeah. You are pricing the product based entirely on the outcome the file delivers to the buyer.
The guide offers 3 phenomenal metrics for figuring this out. First is time saved.
That's a big one.
Let's say you sell a complex financial forecasting spreadsheet for $29. If that spreadsheet saves a small business owner 10 hours of grueling formatting and formula building, they are effectively paying $2.90 an hour for that labor.
Which is nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you frame it like that, $29 is an absolute steal.
The second metric is money earned or saved. If you sell a comprehensive Pinterest marketing guide for $97 and the buyer applies just one strategy from that guide to land a $500 client, the digital product has paid for itself 5 times over.
Right.
The price tag becomes an investment rather than an expense.
And the third metric is alternative cost, which I actually think is the most powerful. Say you sell a pre-made brand identity kit like logos, typography, color palettes for $49.
Okay.
The alternative for that buyer is going out and putting a freelance graphic designer on retainer for $2,000. When you anchor your $49 digital file against the $2,000 real-world alternative, the friction to purchase completely vanishes.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, pricing digital products is really an exercise in anchoring the customer's mind to the value of the outcome. And the most effective psychological tool for doing this on a storefront is tiered pricing.
Yes. The guide suggests offering a basic tier, a premium tier, and an ultimate bundle. Let's say $19, $49, and $97. This is exactly like the movie theater popcorn strategy.
You're talking about the decoy effect when you look at the menu.
Right, the small popcorn is $6 and large is $9, but they throw a medium in there for $8.50. Nobody buys the medium. The medium exists purely to make you look at the large and think, well, for just 50 cents more, I get twice as much popcorn. I'd be an idiot not to upgrade.
The exact same psychology applies to digital pricing tiers. You design your pricing so that your premium option, the $49 tier, which is the one you actually want people to buy, looks like the absolute best value.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the $19 basic tier acts as your small popcorn. It anchors them. The $97 ultimate tier is there to make the premium tier look highly accessible and fairly priced. The basic tier is just a decoy.
It's a brilliant psychological lever. But of course, the best pricing tiers in the world won't make a dime if no one knows your storefront exists.
Very true.
Marketing an intangible product is uniquely difficult because you have to demonstrate its value before the transaction happens. The buyer can't pick up the software or thumb through the ebook in a physical aisle. So how do you get someone to hand over their credit card for something they can't touch?
Well, the guide points to two massive channels for this. It highlights Pinterest as an absolute goldmine, specifically for visual digital products like Canva templates, wedding printables, or Lightroom presets.
I think people still mistake Pinterest for a social media network like Instagram,
Oh, a lot of people do, but it's not. Pinterest is a visual search engine.
a search engine.
Exactly. When someone is on Instagram, they are scrolling passively to be entertained. When someone goes to Pinterest and types in budgeting spreadsheet layout, they are actively looking for a solution to a problem. They have incredibly high buyer intent. You are catching them exactly when they are looking to buy.
That makes total sense. The other major channel the guide emphasizes is email marketing, specifically driven by what they call the free sample strategy.
Oh, lead magnets.
Right, lead magnets. Let's define that for a second. A lead magnet is simply giving away a small piece of your value for free in exchange for an email address. You give away one single Canva template, or maybe the first chapter of your ebook, or a mini 5-minute version of your masterclass.
And the data on this is staggering. Merchants who utilize free lead magnets see their conversion rates on paid products multiply by 3 to 5 times.
Wow, 3 to 5 times.
Yeah, you are essentially letting them test drive the digital car. It proves your competence and builds immediate trust. Once they are on your email list, you have a direct algorithm-free line of communication to offer them your tiered products.
But, the second you start talking about giving away digital files or selling them at all, you inevitably run into the elephant in the room.
Piracy.
Piracy. We talked briefly about DRM and PDF watermarking earlier, but what is really stopping someone from buying your $49 template, duplicating it, and just sending it to 50 other friends?
Look, you can employ expiring download links, you can limit the number of times an IP address can access a file, and you can watermark PDFs. Those are good standard practices.
Okay.
But the guide delivers a truly vital piece of insight here, which completely changes how creators should view this risk. It argues that piracy is not your biggest problem. Obscurity is.
Obscurity over piracy.
Yes. The vast majority of people who pirate a $19 digital product were never, ever going to pay for it in the first place.
That's a good point.
They are not lost revenue. They are essentially just ghosts in your metrics. If you spend all your time, energy, and capital trying to build a digital Fort Knox around your files, you inevitably end up creating a miserable, high-friction experience for your legitimate paying customers.
Oh, like when you buy something and you can't even open it because the security is too strict.
Exactly. They get locked out of their own purchases because of aggressive DRM. The source's advice is clear. Your real enemy is the fact that millions of potential buyers don't even know you exist. Don't build Fort Knox. Spend that energy building a great marketing funnel.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, who is ready to take your expertise and package it? You know the economics, you understand the difference between high and low effort categories, you know how the tech stack functions, you understand value-based pricing, and you know you need to fight obscurity rather than invisible pirates.
Right.
Knowing all of this, is Shopify actually the right home for this kind of business? Or are you trying to run a sleek digital agency out of a clunky retail storefront?
It's probably the most important infrastructure question you will ask, and the guide is incredibly honest about Shopify's limitations. We already know it doesn't do digital delivery natively. It also lacks native subscription tools built right into the core checkout if you want to sell, recurring access to a digital library.
Okay, that's a bummer.
And furthermore, the complexity of digital taxes is a massive headache. If you sell physical goods, tax is relatively straightforward based on where you ship. But digital goods.
Oh no, let me guess. It's a mess.
Total mess. The U.S. has incredibly complex state-by-state nexus rules, and the EU requires you to collect VAT value-added tax-based entirely on the buyer's location, regardless of where your business is based. Shopify calculates a lot of this, but the legal burden of understanding those obligations still falls entirely on you.
And the source material doesn't shy away from pointing out legitimate alternatives depending on your goals.
Right.
Like if you literally only have 1 or 2 simple PDFs to sell and you want 0 upfront monthly costs, Gumroad might actually be a better fit. You can be up and running in minutes, though they do take a pretty steep 10% cut of every sale.
Yeah, that cut hurts at scale.
It does. Now, if you want built-in traffic, Etsy's incredible because millions of people treat it as a search engine for printables and templates. But you entirely sacrifice control of your branding and your customer data.
Which is a huge trade-off.
It is. And if your ultimate goal is to build a massive interactive video course academy, a platform like Teachable is purpose-built for that heavy lifting.
But where Shopify absolutely dominates the competition, where it finds its ultimate sweet spot, is in long-term scalability and brand control.
Scalability.
Yeah. If you are trying to build a standalone, recognizable business, Shopify is unmatched. It allows you to eventually mix digital and physical products seamlessly on the same storefront.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And most importantly, you own your customer data. You own your email list. You control the entire aesthetic of the buyer's journey. Shopify is designed for building a resilient brand, not just facilitating a one-off transaction.
So to recap our journey through the digital economy today, we are looking at a space boasting up to 95% profit margins because the cost of replication is zero. You succeed by matching your real-world expertise to the appropriate category of digital product. You leverage value-based, tiered pricing using that decoy effect to make your premium offers irresistible. And you dedicate your energy to fighting obscurity through Pinterest and lead magnets, rather than building a fortress against pirates.
Exactly. And, speaking of fighting piracy, I want to leave you with a concept that builds on what the source material advises. The guide mentions that the best defense against piracy is continuous improvement. Update your products, add new content, and build a community.
Right.
But if you really think about that, it completely changes what you're actually selling. In the modern creator economy, you aren't really selling a static file at all.
What are you selling them?
You are selling a living relationship. The digital product, that template or that ebook, is just the entry ticket to your world. So as you think about putting your expertise out there, I want to challenge you to look past the file itself. Ask yourself, what kind of community could your knowledge build?
That is an incredible thought to end on. You already have the expertise sitting right there in your head. The mechanics of delivering it are practically free. You just need to decide who you are solving a problem for, price it based on its true value, and put it out into the world. Your garage gets to stay empty, and your earning potential becomes infinite. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the digital economy. We'll see you next time.